Hi guys, so today I'm gonna go over some crucial news from late April 2025. This is gonna be a continuation from my previous video where I reacted to Trump and his interview with ABC News. The reason why I'm continuing this because last time my mic stopped working for majority of the video, so I had to redo these four articles again. But it's alright, it's not a big deal. I'm gonna talk about them real quick. The main different thing we'll do now, I'm gonna react to this video about how Canada's Liberal Party won, which was led by Mark Carney. They won the federal election, which is great. That's good news for Canada at least. Definitely Trump played a role because there are a lot of people who want to vote against them. And the Liberal Party is a bit more left leaning. They're still at best uh uh just a little bit more to the left center of the political spectrum. They are still right wing, just not as extreme as the Conservative Party. So they're not socialists, unfortunately. They're social democrats at best, and they would do some things better than the Republican Party, which is great, but nothing too extreme. Nothing like how I really wanted things to be done, like eliminate, all these tax breaks for the wealthy, things like that. And after the video, we react to the executive order from Trump uh, about impeachment against Trump. Another article regarding that, the Smithsonian update. So let me just react to the video now.
Stand up for Canada with me. Who's ready to stand up for Canada with me? America wants our land, our resources, our water, our country. Never. But these are not idle threats. President Trump is trying to break us.
Yeah, so it is serious. I wouldn't take it as a joke about Trump or JD Vance or anyone else in the Trump administration or Congress, or even local and state officials, elected officials in your state. And I wouldn't take it as a joke when they describe Canada as a 51st state, or we should try to buy off part of Canada or the entirety of Canada. That's not a joke. Trump, when he says those things, he would try to make it seem like it's a joke, but he really means it. And same thing with the rest of his administration. They're not joking. They keep referring Canada as the 51st. This has been a joke in the US for a long time. It's a really dumb joke. Never found it funny. We know that in South Park, they also make fun of the whole 51st thing, and they make fun of Canadians, but South Park make fun of everything. I remember in How I Met Your Mother, um, one of the characters described Canada as a 51st state. Like, we know this being a joke, but once it comes to the Republican Party, they want to be dictators. They really mean it. I would love if this would mean that Canada will start maybe really expanding the military a bit. I know it sucks, but they're gonna have to really prepare just in case the US tries something. Really update the military operations or have some type of more specific I know they don't have too much of a military like the US, but implement something just in case for self-defense reasons, not to conquer other countries, not to do what the US does and create these foreign wars, just to protect themselves. You need to have military. As much I would love to be military free everywhere, so we don't have to worry about wars. We don't live in utopia. You gotta be able to defend your own nation. So you have to have a military. What you have to do is train the military personnel not to be right wingers and actually care about the people they represent and protect in the country. Unlike the US, where a lot of military veterans here, unfortunately, are very right wing. They don't care about the Constitution that much. They go by whatever order they've been told by the generals and the president. It sucks. Even though they literally should be following the Constitution to the T. That's what should come first, which will also include protecting us living in the US.
So that America can own us. That will never ever happen. Our old relationship with the United States, a relationship based on steadily increasing integration.
It sucks because Canada and Mexico are the closest allies to the US, and because of Trump and our Republicans, that has been completely ruined. It already happened back in 2016, but then Trump made a whole trade deal. You know, at least something okay. Not saying he came out with everything or he kind of just reestablished some things, but he did something back in 2018 with Mexico and Canada with the trade deals, which was good. And then he's reversing back his whole idea of the trade deal he had with Canada and Mexico, all because of Project 2025. That's what he's been told. It's really dumb. Is why would you do, especially to countries that you're the closest with, that is your closest allies, that you do a lot of trades with, that you do a lot of economic related operations with. You don't want to do that. That's worse than doing what he has been doing with NATO allies, what he has been doing with and members, what he's been doing with obviously Europe in general and um, African nations like South Africa. It sucks because this shouldn't be like that. His relationship with Latin America, like Central South America, has been really horrible and making the US really tough place for them to work with. A lot of them been pushed to work more with China, which have been much more open to work with other countries instead of just implementing tariffs on them for no good reason.
Is over. It's our tragedies, but it's also our new reality. We are over. We are over the shock of the American betrayal, but we should never forget the lessons. We have to look out for ourselves. When I sit down with President Trump, it will be to discuss the future economic and security relationship between two sovereign nations.
This is why it sucks that we have Trump instead of Kamala Harris. We would never have this problem if we vote against Trump. But 89 million people decided not to vote, and that really impacted. All we need was at least around 6, 7 million of those people just to ensure the victory of Kamala and Tim Walz, and we wouldn't be in this place. At least in terms of the president. And that already created a lot of issues. And then Republicans took the House and the Senate, and that's a problem. Like people need to educate themselves. We know that hardcore right wing extremists, they're not gonna change. Right wing extremists, the Trump supporters, they will never change. Those are not the people I'm talking about. Those 76 million people that vote for Trump. They're kind of done deal for the most part. Very hard to change even 100,000 of them. Those are not the I'm talking about. But the 89 million people that basically didn't vote at all in 2024 election, those are the people you really have to try and educate and explain the reason why it's important. Now, maybe a couple million of those people might care a little bit more now, but it's too late. You have to care about every election. Every election, you have to vote like your life depends on it because it does. It's not about just a Democrat and Republican that says it's literally about your livelihood, your social livelihood, and if the people around you will even be able to survive during this regime. So you gotta think in that sense, not voting for either Kamala or Trump or whoever will be in the future, if we even have fair elections in the future, if at all, even having an election, would not change much in my life. But what about the people around you? What about your community? What about your people who are physically disabled? People who are neurodivergent? People who are LGBTQ plus members? People who are not white? Immigrants? Women? You gotta think in that sense. It's not about you only. If you keep thinking individually only what impacts you, we're gonna keep having this issue over and over. It's gonna be a continuous cycle. And instead of having years, decades at least, no Republicans in power, no extreme right wingers, we keep having this back and forth BS. People just never learn the lesson. We already know that when Democrats are in power, the poor, working class, middle class people make more money. They're more economically safe. It's better for federal government employees. It's better for the minimum wage slightly above minimum wage workers. It's worse for the rich and the wealthy. They get more regular. It's better for climate change initiatives and policies. We know this already. It's literally in statistics, data they can look at, freely available still, at least for now. We know this. This has been accurately true at least since Bill Clinton was president. And people still have not learned anything all these years. You really and now part of this reason is the lack of education we have about why voting matters and how your voting rights can be eliminated anytime. you really don't know much about voting for majority of your life, really. By the time you're eligible to vote at 18 in the US, most people still don't know crap about which candidate to choose to vote for. Why they should even vote? Oh, I'm 18. Doesn't matter. I'm young. Who cares about Social Security? But they don't see that once you eliminate one benefit, it will impact every benefit that works for the poor, one class, middle class people. And that even though in that woman, like, who cares about Bush rights? It doesn't impact me. I don't need to vote for this. But then you remove the rights of one group of individuals, it impacts everyone else. Because now they have the power. Okay, you don't care about women's rights. Maybe you don't care about the rights of LGBTQ plus members. Maybe you don't care about the rights of people neurodivergent. Maybe you don't mind if you create a registry of people who neurodivergent, and maybe you can do something to eliminate those people. That's all Nazi actions. Like people don't think beyond the basics because they're very uneducated about the voting rights. In general, I noticed that with American citizens, most do not know much about their rights and how it can be so easily eliminated by one to be dictator like Trump. And when he has supporters, not just the voters, but from his entire administration and Congress, it becomes and US Supreme Court becomes a cycle of dictatorship, violence, and just elimination of rights. And the only people who end up doing really well are the wealthy. So that was a video. This was from April 28th, 2025, updating April 29th, 2025, NBC News. Published this. I'm going to scroll down so you guys can see the rest of the articles. You can pause. As per usual, everything's going to be in my description so you guys can review uh, the video or the article when you have more time, if needed. This from April 28th, 2025 is at the voter of strengthening and unleashing America's law enforcement to pursue criminals and protect innocent citizens. In a nutshell, and why this is a big deal, this type of executive order, this gives more power to LEOs, law enforcement officers, to do whatever they want to do without a warrant for your arrest or detaining someone, or even just to break through someone's house or apartment to arrest them. And this includes ICE agents too, not just local or state or federal police officers. So this whole thing empowers and encourages law enforcement officers at the local, state, and federal level to just do whatever they gotta do to arrest someone, regardless if they have a warrant or not. Who cares about due process rights if Trump is telling you that you don't have to worry about that? And this is why this is problematic. I'm scrolling so you guys can read more things in detail, but that's a nutshell about this. Within 90 days of the date of this order, the Attorney General and the Secretary of Defense, in consultation with the Secretary of Homeland Security and heads of agencies as appropriate, shall increase the provision of excess military and national security assets in local jurisdictions to state and local law enforcement. Within 90 days of the date of this order, the Secretary of Defense, in coordination with the Attorney General, shall determine how military and national security assets, training, non-lethal capabilities, and personnel can most effectively be utilized to prevent crime. This whole session, what does it mean? It means that now Trump is basically trying to use the military to assist law enforcement in detaining people in the U.S., even potential citizens. That's a no-go. You're not supposed to. The military is not supposed to be targeting American soil. They're not supposed to be going American soil and going and arresting and detaining U.S. citizens because and just American people in general, whether the citizens or not, documented or not, just because of the deed they might be undocumented or a gang member. Doesn't make sense. If you're gonna do this, go after domestic terrorists, aka the KKK, skinheads, neo-Nazis, the Proud Boys, insurrectionists. Those are the people who send. If you want to do this, go after them, not to someone that you who know who happens to be Jesus or Luis, Miguel, or Francisco, Javier, and now you're gonna go after them because obviously they're Hispanic or Brazilian or just Latino, Latina, and that's why you're going after them. It's obvious they're being racist and xenophobic. Let's not do that. But if anything you want to take, understand this, is basically empowering the military to also go after people in the US, whether this is or not doesn't matter, with no due process. Trump doesn't want to have due process. He wants to make it as easy as possible to arrest people regardless of citizenship status to achieve his goal. It's illegal. He himself had tons of due process that occur for him to prevent him from getting in trouble. So taking that away from everyone else just because they're not rich and wealthy is a problem. This is from April 18th, 2025 from the House.gov website. So this is straight from the House of Representatives website. So this House member calls for Trump's impeachment for over failure to enforce Supreme Court order. Keep in mind these have been submitted by Democrats in the House, not by Republicans. So we already know that 9-0 Supreme Court agreed that Garcia should be brought back to the U.S. They ordered the Trump administration to facilitate the process of bringing back Garcia, who has been in El Salvador for months already. That never happened. They're being ignored the U.S. Supreme Court decision, and U.S. Supreme Court has done nothing to really put Trump and his administration in trouble. If they might do something, they go after everyone else but Trump. But so far, they've done nothing. Congress, obviously, Democrats cannot do much because they're not in power. They do not have the majority in the House of the Senate, so there's not much they can do except for protesting and inform people about how Republicans are aiding Trump's dictatorship. So I'm just scrolling down so you guys can read more. And there are a lot of actions of impeachable offenses that are committed by the president and his entire administration. This is not just Trump. The problem is they only focus on Trump inside his entire administration. They have to impeach everyone. J.D. Vance, RFK Jr., Musk, etc. It's not just Trump things. It's Stephen Miller is a big one. The guy really behind Project 2025. These are people we really gotta get rid of. So I just want to inform people they've been trying. This is not the first one of this year. There was already a Democrat in the House from Texas who also uh, been trying to submit articles of impeachment against Trump. There've been several already. So this is not the first one this year, but they are being basically submitted by Democrats. Keep this in mind when it comes to voting in local and state elections, not just federal. So you don't go and vote for Republicans who think it's going to help you financially when it does the opposite. Do not vote for Republicans. It's the best thing I can say. Smithsonian responds to reports about artifacts on view. This is their website, April 28, 2025. So they basically talk about how they're not removing certain monuments. Uh, so you can read here how reports about the Smithsonian removing the historic Greensboro, North Carolina launch counter and a stool from the National Museum of American History and National Museum of African American History and Culture, respectively, are inaccurate. So they're not doing that. That's basically the whole little not article you can say or blog about this. So just giving an update. That's really it. So you guys know that's not happening, and they will keep protecting and conserving all these monuments and historic material as much as they can. Conservation matters in these things. We will see how they can safeguard this, but that's just an update on that. And that's basically it for today. There's nothing more I'll talk about for in this video. Let me know what you guys think in the description about everything in the comment section. You can either agree with the Canada's Liberal Party winning or not. Let me know what you guys think on that. The executive order, articles of impeachment against Trump, Smithsonian response, how they're still trying to protect the monuments, historic uh, things like statue monuments, and everything else that really matters. Hopefully, they're able to continue doing that. I know Trump is trying to prevent it. And if you like this video, like and subscribe. If you watch this on TikTok, follow us on TikTok. And I hope everyone has a safe and good day.